Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I have the much talked about book tag that's currently circulating. I've done this I think a few other years, and I thought, well, I'm definitely going to jump into it this year. And this is the mid-year book freakout tag, and I gotta tell you, I've been having one of my all-time greatest reading years so far this year. The hits just keep on coming. So I'm excited to get into this and tell you guys about some of these books. So let me just pull up the questions here. Okay, so first of all, I can start off by telling you that so far in 2023, I've read 34 books. I had set a goal for myself of 40, and it definitely looks like I'm going to blow past that this year. So that's exciting. And now let's just jump on into the questions. Like I said, I've seen everybody, all the booktubers I watch have done this. And I just always love hearing people's answers. So hopefully you do too. And question number one right out the gate is best book you've read so far in 2023. And that's tough because I've read some good ones, but I'm confident in going with On the Savage Side by Tiffany McDaniel. Not only was this the best book that I've read so far this year, it might even crack the top 5 of best books I've ever read. Not only that, but it also made me incredibly emotional. And I was dazed trying to recover from reading this. It's a very intense story about 2 sisters and their lives, and it just hit me right in the face, and it was so good. And I'm gonna have book talks or spoiler-free book reviews for all of these books on my channel, so you can check them out if you want to learn more about them. So I'm not going to get into too much detail, but On the Savage Side is an absolute ride of emotions, and I cannot remember a book that affected me more. So question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2023. Now, my answer to this one's a little weird. First of all, I don't read a lot of books that are in a series or have sequels. I tend to read standalone books. But I think it was the first book I read this year was Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. And this was the sequel to his earlier book, My Heart is a Chainsaw. And I loved Don't Fear the Reaper, but I have to admit to you that I didn't read the first one. I saw Don't Fear the Reaper on NetGalley and grabbed it because I knew I wanted to read it. So what I did to prepare for that was I kind of just watched other people's reviews, read spoilers on the internet to get a feel for what the first one was about. I am eventually going to go back and read it because the 3rd book's coming out soon, and I do want to read that one as well. But yeah, this was great. And I've heard the first one's excellent as well. And that one's about a woman named Jade Daniels, and she is going through it. That's all I'm going to say. New release you haven't read yet but want to. That would probably be the new Riley Sager book. And for, what's it called? Hang on. For whatever reason, I can't remember what it's called. It's called The Only One Left, and I'm looking forward to that. I've read 2 other books by him. I read The House Across the Lake that came out last year and Survive the Night, and I enjoyed both of them. I know some people think it's too ridiculous that his stories like start off one way and then they go completely off the rails into ridiculousness is the word I see most often thrown around, but you know what? I love that. I love going on that ride and just seeing where we end up. The crazier the better with certain kinds of books, and his books are definitely one that fit that for me. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. That's gonna be Rouge by Mona Awad. I've currently got an e-arc sitting on my iPad waiting for me to read it, and I'm gonna be reading that soon, but that will still cross over into the second half of the year. She's the author of 2 books I loved, Bunny and All's Well, and I cannot wait for this 3rd one. I can't wait. So that, keep your eyes out. There'll be a spoiler-free book review coming for that one in the next couple of weeks. Number 5. 5, biggest disappointment. That's a really good question. I think for that one, I'm going to have to go with Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. It wasn't a bad book. I enjoyed it. And that's what I'm saying, you guys. Even when I'm trying to think of my biggest disappointment of the year, I've loved almost every book I've read so far this year. But I'm going to go with that one only because I was so pumped. I was so hyped and ready for it, and it felt just slightly flat for me. And it's probably because my expectations were set so high. So, like, it's my own fault. I just got myself so hyped for it that didn't quite deliver. But it was still really good, and I know a lot of people really loved it. So, let's see what the next question is here. Biggest surprise. My biggest surprise of the year for how much I loved it was Bunny by Mona Awad. I hadn't even really heard of it, and then I saw Books in Lala, Kayla, on her Goodreads account. She had a review for this book, and it just said, ha ha ha, what the fuck? And I was like, okay, let's read it. And it just, I loved it. It's really dark, but it's also at the same time incredibly fun, and it just blew me away, and I hadn't been ready. I wasn't ready for it. Was not ready. Question number 7 is favorite new author, either debut or new to you. And I'm going to go with 2 for this one, and they weren't debuts, but they were both new to me this year, and that is both Tiffany McDaniel and Mona Awad. I've been talking all year about both of these authors to anyone who will listen to me. So I can't pick between the 2. But if I had to, it would be Tiffany. It would be Tiffany. But I loved them both, and they've brought so much joy to my life, both of them. Even though Tiffany's joy comes in tears. Because I've read On the Savage Side and also Betty, and it's emotionally taxing, but it's so good. It's so good. Number 8. Let me see here. Newest fictional crush. Well, here's the thing, you guys. I don't read a lot of books that would lend themselves to developing crushes on the characters. They're all usually pretty dark and twisty, and the men in them are usually pretty dark and twisty. So I don't have a current literary crush. And you know what? I wish I did. I wish I did. It's always fun, isn't it? But no, none here, none to talk about. Newest favorite character, again, going back to Tiffany McDaniel and On the Savage Side, I absolutely loved with my whole heart the sisters in that book, Ark and Daffy, and they will stick with me for quite some time. And here's how you know. Here's how you know. My memory is the sort that, okay, I read the book months ago. Even if I read a book weeks ago, most generally, I would have to go look up what the characters' names were. The book has to really stick with me for me to instantly know the characters' names. And as we just saw here, Ark and Daffy, I will never forget them, ever. Oh gosh, question number 10, book that made you cry. On the Savage Side. Book number 11, book that made you happy. Bunny made me happy in the way that, you know, when you find something new and fun makes you happy. I don't really read a lot of feel-good. I'm now realizing, as I'm sitting here to film this, I don't really read a lot of feel-good type of stories. I just posted a review of The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. That made me happy. Mostly, the books that make me happy are when I'm, like, thrilled with the twists and the darkness. Favorite book to film adaptation you've seen this year? Have I seen a book to film adaptation this year? You know, I don't know that I did. I saw My Policeman, but that was last year. I think that was in December. And I know that's a book to film, but I haven't read the book. I watched Rebecca because I did a reading vlog on reading Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier because that book came out the year my grandmother was born. So I watched that and I enjoyed it. The book was better, but I'm sure I've seen some book to film adaptations this year. I just can't think of any off the top of my head. But you know what? Maybe I haven't. I'm on a spiel now. Maybe I haven't because I'm really in my TV show era and I don't watch a ton of movies lately. So maybe not. Number 13, most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. That's easy. That's easy. It's this copy here of Persuasion by Jane Austen. I mean, the gold, the hand-painted cover. She's beautiful. She is beautiful. I love her. And the final question. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, Rouge by Mona Awad. I've got Rachel Hawkins' new book waiting for me. I want to read that. New Riley Sager book. Paul Tremblay's got a new book coming out, I think really soon, called The Beast You Are. I love Paul Tremblay. I'll be reading that for sure. What else? Ashley Winstead has a new book coming out. I'll be reading that. But that book doesn't come out until January, I think. Anyway, there's so many. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this tag. I feel like I've had so much fun, and I hope you have also been having a great reading year. If you want to answer any of the questions down in the comments below, let me know. I would love that. And leave a little book emoji in the comments so I know you made it here to the end. And let me know, well, I guess if you answer this question, I'll know you made it, so you don't need to worry about the book emoji. But would you like me to make a video where I talk to you guys about my favorite booktuber creators? Maybe you can find some new favorites yourselves. I was thinking about that earlier today, that I might like to do that. Just because there's so many amazing book content creators, and sometimes it's hard to know where to start, where to find them. So perhaps we will do that as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate you spending a bit of your day with me, and I will see you guys again real soon, I think with a vlog. I think it's a vlog next. Okay, bye.